WWE must avoid this big mistake with Bianca Belair. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that mistake is and how they can avoid it. Because Bianca Belair, she's in a very interesting spot right now. She's gone without her tag team partner, Jade Cargill. The mystery partner angle had continued, or is still continuing, depending on when you hear this video and when Jade Cargill makes her return. And in the meantime, she has teamed with Naomi to keep the women's tag team championships. Of course, Nick Aldis, the SmackDown GM, he went to Bianca and said, "Look, I understand you would like to defend the championships with Jade Cargill, but we don't know when Jade is coming back. And simply either find a partner or we're going to have to strip you of the titles." That was basically his message. Naomi stepped up, and they have since been defending the championships. This does two things. One, it keeps the titles on Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill while Jade is off television. And B, it keeps fans talking about who is the mystery partner, or the mystery attacker, rather. And a lot of people think the mystery attacker is actually the partner, which is Naomi. Obviously, though, there is some speculation that Bianca Belair could be behind the attack. I'll explain why I don't think that's the case here in a minute. And so Bianca Belair, she's coming up on almost a year of being in a tag team, being in a situation in which she really hasn't been in up until now in her career, because for the most part, whether it be NXT, Raw, SmackDown, main roster run, she's been mostly booked as a single star, and that's one of the reasons why she is so over as she is, because the fans, they just want to see her succeed. And she's been a really, really good player for WWE over the last, 5-6 years. And so when you look at what she's been able to do as a single star, the effect that she's had on the tag team division has been noteworthy. But then with Jade being out, and we don't know how long Jade will be out, she could have returned by the time you hear this video. It doesn't matter. There is one thing that they cannot do with her. There is one thing that they cannot do with Bianca Belair either, and it's this, because I've seen a progression where I talked about for a long time how I thought it was ready for Jade and Bianca to turn and finally feud with each other. And a lot of you guys pushed back on that narrative of saying, hey, we really like Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair as a tag team. And it made me sit back and admit, hey, I'm wrong here. And so now it's, okay, well, we got this mystery attacker. Let's see how this plays out. There's no real reason to break up Jade and Bianca if Bianca isn't the attacker, and I don't think she is. What they cannot do is this. They cannot spit in the face of being like, nope, we're going to turn Bianca and we're going to have her be the mystery attacker on Jade. You can't do that. And you can't do that because you're trying to lead to a WrestleMania match, right? Like, I've always talked about how I thought they should have split, and then you do the big match at WrestleMania. That's one of the bigger matches that you can do in the women's division. That's one of the bigger matches that you can do in the entire company. I thought that would be a really, really good idea. Well, you guys have spoken and you said, no. We don't like that idea. We don't want Jade and Bianca to feud with each other just yet. And so I'm afraid that there is going to be a pushback because you did the heel turn and you tried to fit it in the WrestleMania window. That there's going to be a pushback, that it's going to actually impact Bianca and it's going to impact Jade, because right now they have a lot of support among fans as baby faces, but more importantly as a tag team. And so my rationale is this. If you have a overact, whether it's baby faces or heels, but especially baby faces, because you have to continuously draw and maintain that loyalty among the fan base, and you want the fans to keep supporting your baby faces. If you have an act, whether it's tag team or a singles act, if you have an act that is super duper over, just keep going with it until you start to feel like it's losing a little bit of steam. If that's the case, then Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair should not be splitting up anytime soon, nor should they be losing the tag team titles anytime soon, because they are a super duper over act. The only problem is we don't know how long Jade's going to be out of action as of this recording. But I also have a little bit of concern in regards to this idea of making Bianca the heel, making her the attacker, and I'll tell you why. I understand that she had a heel turn down in NXT. That was years ago, okay? She has been able to blossom into one of their most over baby faces, one of their most popular stars. and someone that sells a ton of merch. And y'all gotta keep in mind when we're talking about turning babyface and heels, you also gotta look at the business line, right? I understand WWE makes the bulk of their money through media rights and their library rights and etc. and ticket sales. But they also make a ton of money off of merch. And Bianca Belair is one of the bigger merch sellers that they have. And Jade Cargill, she sells a ton of merch as well. And so when we're talking about turning people heel and babyface, you always have to keep that in mind. I've always been under the opinion that there are certain talents in which really should not turn heel and or should not turn babyface. So like for instance, in my opinion, Bianca Belair should always be a babyface. She's as good as a babyface, and that is something in which I don't see why you would want to change that. It's no different from like The Miz trying to be a babyface when everyone knows he's better off as being a heel. Same thing with Charlotte Flair. She's a much better heel than a babyface. Let it run with that, right? Can you imagine them booking Austin Theory as a babyface? I know they did that with the Way in NXT, but different character. Or Grayson Waller as a babyface, like that doesn't make any sense. There are certain talents in which just are better in a babyface role or a heel role. And you can do what you want with them and you can try to change that. But at the end of the day, I think you have to go with what life gives you. And what life has given Bianca Belair and what life has given WWE with Bianca Belair is an amazing babyface. Now, when it comes to Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill, I think you have to look at it like this. Could you do the match this year? Well, of course. You could do Bianca versus Jade this year. Should you do it at WrestleMania? No, of course not. When do you do it? I don't know. I really don't. Maybe SummerSlam? Like, we're talking July, August, I forget what the date is. That's a long time. Okay, that's 6 months or so. 7 months, 8 months, whatever it is. That could realistically be, and they're obviously splitting two-night, I think it's two-night SummerSlam starting this year. You could do that. I'm not saying that they could necessarily headline that event right now, but with the right build, sure. You don't know where the landscape of WWE is going to be in 6-8 months, right? They're on fire right now. They could cool off by then. We don't know. There's a reason why they're locking in all these premium live event dates in advance and trying to get the guaranteed money for the site fees in advance, because you never know where your product is going to go. You never know when the state of the company is going to go. And so if you look at it like that, you roll with Bianca as a babyface, you roll with her as a tag team until the fans stop wanting it. And then once the fans start saying, hey, we don't want this anymore, then you pivot and you go in a different direction. That's all I'm saying. Just don't have Bianca as the heel. Don't have them work a WrestleMania match. Let things work its course.